Man, you got to listen to this. It's insane. When Ice Cube. Yeah, that Ice Cube, the same hip-hop icon who unleashed No Vaseline, one of the coldest diss tracks ever recorded, actually steps away from his empire just to check you. You already know you've crossed the line. That's not a response. That's a public execution with rhythm. When Cube takes time out to...
I can't stand Ice Cube.
That's crazy.
I'm not a fan of him lyrically or acting-wise.
Speak. It's never random. It's a statement. And this time, somebody's about to learn exactly why you don't play with legends. And that's exactly what happened when Aries decided to pop off on Big Boy's neighborhood. This man didn't just talk slick. He went for Cube's entire crown. The albums, the films, the legacy. He tried to clown it.
And put hands on you, give you real black eyes. Come on, and that's the truth. I've had about it
all. Aries straight up called Ice Cube trash, both as a rapper and as an actor. Crazy, right? Like, who wakes up in the morning and decides, yeah, today I'm gonna take shots at a legend? Cube wasn't about to let that slide. He clapped back icy as ever, saying, Aries is irrelevant, not funny, and not even top 10 among black comedians. Stone cold. But then boom, 50 Cent saw the clip, and you know what happens when 50 smells drama. He jumped in like a shark that caught the scent of blood, laughing his way through the mess because chaos is his cardio. And of course, 50 had to twist a knife. Aries Spears? Oh, that dude? Is he even a comedian? 'Cause he ain't never made me laugh. Savage. What started as a simple chat about rap rankings went completely off.
Cube is a motherfucking
I
lyricist.
can't stand Ice Cube.
That's crazy.
I'm not a fan of him lyrically or acting-wise.
Really?
He's the same.
How much time we got left here? Because should I just tell him to leave now?
Let
or
me tell you, Chuck did a great joke. He goes, here's Ice Cube as a gynecologist. Hey, Miss Jenkins, I looked at your chart. Now get up on that butt.
That's racist. I don't know how it's racist, but with
The rails the second Aries opened his mouth. The moment Cube's name dropped, he lost it. No filter, no chill, just pure venom. And it didn't stop there. Dude really had the audacity to come for It Was a Good Day. Like that wasn't one of the most iconic tracks in hip-hop history. That's not just disrespect. That's full-blown West Coast sacrilege. Big Boy's co-host tried to smooth things over with a little laugh. But Aries? Nah. He went full kamikaze. He jumped into this bizarre Ice Cube as a gynecologist impression that had everybody cringing in silence. Aries was laughing at his own jokes while the room froze. Not one person cracked a smile. But he kept digging the hole deeper. 1 minute his clowning Cube, and the next, his randomly throwing shots at Tupac like he lost his mind. And then came the real bomb. He actually tried to downplay Pac's legacy. Straight face. He said, when people list their top 5 rappers, I don't ever put Pac up there. Like, what? Aries didn't just toss shade.
Greatest lyricist. He was energy. He was passion. He made you feel him. If that said, tear the club up, you wanted to tear the club up. Dear mama, you wanted to hug your mama. When you think about lyricism, Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, Jadakiss, my lyrics spit.
He detonated Nuke. He managed to disrespect the entire West Coast in one breath. That's not bold. That's suicidal. And the wildest part? He knew it. Mid-rant, he looked right into the camera with that cocky grin like he was daring Hollywood to cancel him. So when that clip hit the internet hit back harder. The backlash was instant. Fans flooded the comments. One person tweeted, I love Aries' talent, but bro, the Ice Cube slander? Yeah, that was a death wish. One fan fired back saying, this is exactly why Aries ain't got no weight. Another chimed in, talking like Cube or Pac wasn't lyrical. That's insane. Bro sounds Salt in New York lost the crown decades ago. The internet was roasting him nonstop, but Aries had no idea the real storm hadn't even hit yet. Because the legends he tried to drag, they weren't about to let that disrespect slide. Usually, OGs ignore the noise. But this time, Cube came out swinging like a general. Cube didn't just respond, he dismantled him. When asked about Aries, Cube chuckled and said, that dude, he said nothing. Is he even a comedian? 'Cause he ain't never made me laugh. Then Cube twisted the blade, breaking down Aries' entire career in seconds. No filter, no hesitation, just facts. And that's the thing about Cube. He's not some faded rapper. He's an empire. From ghostwriting for NWA to No Vaseline to Friday and the Big Three League, Cube's track record is a monument, not a mixtape. When reporters told him Aries wasn't impressed, Cube barely blinked. He smirked and said, "That's cool. Everybody's got opinions, and they all stink." Then he delivered the knockout line. I don't even think he's top 10 among black comedians. Matter of fact, I don't even know if he's registered. Ice cold. But instead of learning his lesson, Aries kept yapping, like he wasn't already getting roasted coast to coast. This man jumped back online, still throwing shade, still poking the bear. But this time, it wasn't just Cube watching. Somewhere in a penthouse suite, 50 Cent was scrolling, grinning ear to ear. And here's a twist. Aries had taken shots at him before, too. And if there's one thing everybody knows, it's that 50 lives of this kind of smoke. So people figured maybe 50 would let it slide. But nah, he struck back in the pettiest, most perfect way possible. Out of nowhere, he dropped one of his silent diss videos. No names, no tags, no captions, but everyone knew who it was for. Classic 50. Petty, precise, deadly. All he wrote was, "Check my temperature." That's it. Game. Over. I'm ice cold. The hood left the left side of my chest froze. Need help with your bills?
Ice Cube was on when I'm just watching. Music.
And
all of it.
movies, all of it.
Yeah. I never really seen Ice Cube in films that weren't his. You know, like he kind of produced the vehicle that he was in. And it wasn't like he was just being an actor in someone else's.
Write you a referral. Might even get you a love contract. That was a bar, calm, sharp, and surgical. Cube didn't yell, didn't curse. He just executed that man in poetry form. Fans went nuts, calling it the classiest hit job ever. You could feel it. Aries took that one straight to the chest. Because not long after, he was back online, ranting again, still salty about Cube clowning him earlier. But instead of standing firm, Aries started doing verbal gymnastics. 1 second is saying, "I respect Ice Cube as a man," and the next is talking about how Cubes never impress him. Like, bro, pick a narrative. At this point, he wasn't just tripping. He was blueprinting his own downfall in real time. Then came the weird self-drag nobody asked for. He goes, "I'm the poster child for the world's biggest hater. If you look up hate, it's my picture." And then out of nowhere, he starts preaching about freedom of opinion like this was some deep life sermon instead of PR cleanup. He says, "At what point did we get to where unless your opinion is favorable, you're a hater?" Like, bro, this isn't a TED Talk. It's a price of running your mouth. What Aries didn't get was he had just poked two of the most ruthless dudes in entertainment, Ice Cube and 50 Cent. That's not free speech. That's a suicide mission. Fans saw it instantly and lit him up across every platform. The internet dragged him not because he spoke his mind, but because he couldn't stand on it. 1 minute is talking tough. The next is crying foul when somebody swings back. One fan said it perfectly. You can't talk slick and then play victim when the clap back hits. Another wrote, "You got a right to your opinion, but after that corny skit, you're not valid. Cube's a made man." Cold truth, but fair. And that's when things really went left. Because now, it wasn't just about Cube or 50 anymore. It cracked open old wounds Aries prayed would stay buried. The internet started digging up that 2022 scandal, the one that nearly ended his career for good. So yeah.
He sent me a clip where Ice Cube responded. He was on a radio show and the dude played him the snippet. And the first thing Ice Cube says is, well, most suckers don't like me. Then he goes on to say, "I never heard of this dude." Then he finishes by saying, "Well, he's just not funny." Well, you can't have it both ways. If you don't know who I am, how do you know if I'm funny or not? So you can't have it both ways.
Time to rewind that tape. Back in 2022, Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears got hit with a lawsuit that left Hollywood in pure shock. The accusations were straight up disturbing, centered around a so-called comedy sketch where a child was left alone with an adult character played by Aries. The whole thing was off, creepy setup, wrong tone, no punchline, just discomfort. It wasn't edgy, it was unsettling. And the second that clip resurfaced online, the internet went nuclear. Twitter exploded. The Shade Room picked it up, and from there, it was over. The backlash hit like a freight train. Non-stop outrage, non-stop disgust. Even though the case eventually got settled and the footage got wiped, the damage stuck forever. That stain on Aries' name never washed away. People moved on, but they never forgot. And instead of regrouping and rebuilding, Aries went right back to the same tired routine, crying about being blackballed, claiming Hollywood shut him out, and comparing himself to Kevin Hart like they were peers. Bro, nobody was buying that anymore. Fans saw it for what it was, not hustle, but self-pity. Then came the cleanup act that fooled no one. Aries tried to backpedal, saying, I respect Ice Cube the man. He's a pioneer. I just said I'm not a fan of his artistry. Like, bro, that's not what you said when you were clowning him live on air. He kept insisting. I never attacked his character, trying to spin it like he was misquoted. But the receipts were clear. The internet already saw the full clip. There was no walking that back. At this point, Aries wasn't trending for jokes. He was trending for drama. No hit shows, no Netflix deals, no sold-out tours. Just messy interviews, viral rants, and scandals that wouldn't stay buried. Behind the scenes, the whispers were worse. Co-stars called him arrogant, ego-driven, and impossible to work with, always needing to be the loudest in the room, never letting anyone else shine. That me energy became his brand, and it burned bridges faster than he could build new ones. So when the Ice Cube and 50 Cent drama hit, all that old baggage came crashing back. This wasn't one bad take. It was years of bad energy catching up. The bitterness had been festering, and now it was spilling out everywhere, which is the real tragedy, because Aries actually has talent. He can mimic anybody, deliver sharp punchlines, but he never had that moment. That Dave Chappelle-level breakout that cements you as iconic. And when that never came, the resentment took over, poisoning everything that could have saved him. Let's be real. This whole saga blew up because Aries didn't just diss any rapper. He went after Ice Cube. That's not a regular target. That's a cultural monument. The man behind No Vaseline, one of the top 3 diss tracks in hip-hop history, no debate. When you go at Cube, you're not just talking slick. You're challenging an institution. That's not confidence. That's career suicide. And Cube's resume? Untouchable. Friday wasn't just a movie. It was a cultural reset. It birthed a franchise, shaped comedy, and gave hip-hop its cinematic voice. Then came the Big Three League, a professional basketball empire built from scratch, now backed by NBA legends and big investors. And before all that, Cube was ghostwriting for Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, and MC Ren, literally crafting the West Coast DNA before he could even drink. That's not luck, that's legacy. Now stack that against Ari Spears. A few MAD-TV skits, some average stand-up specials, and a timeline full of rants where he's more bitter than funny. No classics, no legacy, just controversy. That's why fans didn't hesitate to side with Cube. He didn't need to drop a diss track. His existence was a diss. His legacy said everything for him. Then came the ultimate MIC drop. Right after the chaos, Cube dropped the teaser cast list for Final Friday. And guess whose name wasn't there? You guessed it, Ari Spears. Now, nobody said he was ever in the running. But the timing? Perfect. Fans called it the coldest silent message ever sent. Translation: you'll never eat at this table. That's not shade, that's dominance. So yeah, Aries went viral, but not for the laughs, not for the work, not for the art. He's trending because 2 certified legends, Ice Cube and 50 Cent, publicly folded him, and the internet stood up and applauded. Brutal. But that's what happens when you mistake controversy for clout. Like, share, and subscribe, because trust me, this story, it's nowhere near over. The next chapter might just break the internet.